All right. This dude is so awesome. I'm down for my city. I am New Orleans, through and through. This brother is so down for Detroit. I'm sorry, Detroit. Say it right for me.
Detroit.
Red Wings.
Red Wings.
Let's go, Oilers.
We got 5 straight. Let's go, Detroit.
Let's see if we can start some more fight. You ready? Pistons.
Bruins. Lakers. Celtics.
Lions.
He said Lions, not lights, you slow. All right. And what's your other one? You got one more.
We got the Tigers.
Let's go.
The Tigers.
We got the Tigers.
This brother is so down, and what stood out to me is how down he is for his city. And if there's a better representation of a city that gets a lot of grief, like my city, that actually produces great people, keep preaching on for Detroit. This dude is going to blow your mind, because don't get shocked by what that looked like. There's brains under that, underneath that T-shirt and them same cargo pants he's been wearing. All right. You ready, bro?
Let's go.
Let's make some noise for the king of all, Detroit! Oh, look at this dude.
All right, that's too hot. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? That's what I like to hear. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. I only got 25 minutes, so hopefully we can get this knocked out. Where we going here? Boom. Cool. All right. Liquid death. Love it. A huge shout out to Magnolia Conf. Thank you, everybody that has brought. Yes, give a round of applause. All the volunteers. Thank the sponsors. Thank everybody that makes this happen. Super, super stoked to be back. I've spoken at this event 2 years ago. I've also spoken at this event when it was virtual during COVID. Amazing event, very intimate, very, very community focused, and that is what I am all about. This is the official hashtag for the event, Magnolia Conf. Hopefully you're on Twitter or Blue Sky or LinkedIn or some social platform of your choice. If you can tag the event, also use this hashtag. That would be amazing, not just for myself, but for the volunteers and the organizers to see the engagement of the event. And if you're listening online, I would love for you to do the same thing. And if you could throw this on there too. Who has seen me give a conference talk before? Okay, sweet. So some noobs in here, but that's fine. I'm a big proponent of the developer community. That's what I do for a living. That's my job. It focuses around developer community and making a safe, inclusive space for everybody, and to help teach and mentor. And I love everybody that's here. So developer community is my lifeblood. If you could throw this hashtag on anything that you're putting out there on socials, that would be really, really fresh. There's also show notes for this talk. So if you want the slides, you want all the resources, you can scan this QR code. I'll have one at the end, but I'm also recording this talk as well. So if you wanted to watch the talk over again, you want to see just the talk itself, the video should be uploaded either this week or next week to show notes. That's me. My name is Chris DeMars. Like Mr. LaFrance said, Detroit, born and raised. You can catch me on Twitter at Salt and Burnham. Where's it at? Where are we at? Right here. There we go. Salt and Burnham. You can catch me on Blue Sky, chrisdemars.net. I'm a senior developer advocate. I work at TuxCare. Has anybody heard of TuxCare? From you? All right, that's right, from me. So we do a lot of amazing stuff at TuxCare. One of the things that we do is live rebootless patching for Linux systems, all Linux distros. What I focus on is end-of-life support for end-of-life products, frameworks, libraries. So if you're running older versions of Angular, AngularJS, we offer a solution that is patched according for the security vulnerabilities that you can pull into your project, and we continuously patch them as well as transitive dependencies, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second. A little bit more about me. I believe in all types of cryptids. I believe in ghosts, and I also believe in UFOs. So if you love any of that stuff, we can have a whole conversation if you already know what I'm going to be talking about in this talk. And I want you to do me a huge favor. We are running this contest at TuxCare till the end of the month. It was all October. We want to know your dev horror story. I want to know what you did. Did you push the prod on Friday? Did you drop a database? We have 3 prizes that you can win. The first one is an Asus portable monitor. I usually travel with a portable monitor. It changes your world, especially if you're on the road, you need a second monitor. Amazing things. If you let us know, tag me, tag TuxCare on socials, and use the hashtag TuxScare, and you'll be entered into the contest. We'll choose winners after October 31st. It's going on October 31st, 11:59 Eastern, because I'm from Eastern time zone. Cool with that? Yay? Nay? All right. This is the title of the talk, Know Your JS, SBOMs for Front-End Devs, or the alternate talk title, The Men in Black Know What's in Your JavaScript and How to Fix It. The Men in Black are real. It's not just a movie. If you know your UFO history and your UAP history, the Men in Black are real. No, they've never showed up to my house. Not yet, at least. Well, I knew something was hurting in my leg for a minute, so. There is a trigger warning. If you are not into aliens and don't like alien movies, if you're not into UFOs and UAPs, you might want to close your eyes. Is everybody cool with that? Yes, Chris, we're cool with that. Cool. Sweet. All right, y'all, you don't have to answer this, but what does this have to do with this? You don't have to answer it. Because I wanted to ask you. Fine. Answer it. What does this is the gimbal footage that came out, have to do with this? It's Unix. I know this system. I didn't write this code, by the way. This isn't my code. It actually is something like this. Does everybody remember this movie, Independence Day? What happened at the end? There was a virus injected into the mothership, right? All the children's ships kind of collapsed underneath it. You can really think about that like supply chain. We were talking about supply chain earlier, supply chain attacks. You don't want anything that's injected into the systems that you're using to crash everything else around you, right? It's unexplainable. It really can be unexplainable. But I can assure you that the truth is out there. So how many dependencies does your average JavaScript app have? Just off the top of your head, how many do you think? 42,000, 38.2 million, right? You can find out. You just run npm ls in your terminal. And when you run npm ls, it'll give you a list of your dependencies. What is listed in your package.json file at the root of your project. There you go. Not too many, right? Well, why not list all of them? There's a good reason why you don't want to list all of them, because that will overflood your terminal. That's a lot of information to consume, but you can do it. You just run npm ls-all, and that will list all of the dependencies in your project. And it'll keep going and going and going and going. This is just a little demo of that. And it scrolls, and it scrolls, and it scrolls. And it scrolls. And it scrolls. It does stop eventually.
Next week.
Well, how much hair you got left on your head? Okay, that's what I thought. Hopefully everybody's going to be here to watch Todd's talk. You're talking tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
First call.
And that's it. That is all the dependencies that we have in our project. Now, these are two different types of dependencies. The first we call direct dependencies. Those are what are your what's directly in your package.json file. So for instance, if you were to install Next, you're going to get React, React DOM, and Next. Next is the direct dependency that you would see in your package.json file in the root of your project, okay? Then we have transitive dependencies. And you can kind of think of transitive dependencies like this. Is everybody familiar with this? No? Creeped out a little bit? It's a face hugger from the Alien franchise. Face hugger implants like a baby xenomorph. The person doesn't know it. They eventually get a chest burster, blah, 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 blah. It's going along for the ride. That's how you can think of a transitive dependency. If you were to go into your Next package inside your node modules, and you were to go to that package.json file, you're going to see the env package, right? You didn't explicitly install that, but that comes along with Next as a transitive dependency. How many of us are perusing our node modules on the daily basis? Not me. None of us are, right? But that's where the issues start to happen. That's where you can get into a lot of trouble. So let's say we want to build this cool UFO tracker, right? npm install UFO tracker. This is awesome. It comes along with a little bit of data, right? It pulls data from Project Blue Book. It pulls data from the Roswell files. It pulls data from the Hynek report, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then some weird stuff starts happening in your machine. You're getting weird texts and phone calls in the middle of the night. You have no idea what's happening. It's static on the other line. You're kind of getting tripped out. You're seeing lights outside your windows. Nobody's out there. You're freaking out just a little bit. And you decide to look not just in your package.json file, but you want to look at that package and see what is in your node modules. And then you come along this one, the MIB package 1.3.4. And then you start to freak out a little bit because now someone is tracking you. And now these cats show up at your door and you got a problem on your hands. It's not a good look. We want to make sure that we're being cognizant of this. Two big attacks that happened recently. This one right here, this is GlueStack. GlueStack is like a shad, Tailwind UI framework for React Native. Maintained by GlueStack, compromised packages included React Native ARIA Focus, which is an accessibility piece, utils, overlays, interactions, toggle switch, checkbox radio, button menu, list box tabs, combo box, disclosure, I didn't put that in there as a joke, slider and separator, as well as GlueStack UI utils. So all of those packages were affected by an NPM supply chain attack. Another one that just happened was this one right here, the Shai Hulud supply chain attack that was recent because of this package, control/tinycolor. Supply chain attack, self-propagating malware, infects 40 plus NPM packages, 2 million weekly downloads. This is just a color utility function. That's all it is. It is a direct dependency, but it is also a transitive dependency because a lot of packages rely on tinycolor in their software. We really have to be cognizant of the things that we are installing. We have to be running security checks, right? We really have to be thinking about these things. The three things I always say that are put on the back burner, and you've heard me say this if you see me give me a talk, if you've seen me give a talk, accessibility, performance, and security. They're always left last when shit hits the fan. It's how it always works. They need to be thought of from the beginning, and they fall under the umbrella of the UX, the user experience. So let's talk about an SBOM. Has anybody heard of the term SBOM in web and software? A few of us? Cool. Then y'all are going to learn something. Most of y'all are going to learn something. So an SBOM stands for a software bill of materials. You might have heard of a BOM before, a bill of materials. An SBOM is just a software bill of materials. What is it? What is an SBOM? Well, it's a bunch of different things. There's names, there's versions, there's licenses, there's sources, there's hashing. There's a bunch of different stuff that makes it up, but you can think about it as a recipe to cook a dinner, right? Or a shipping manifest, or a flight manifest, and if you're looking at it from the UAP, UFO spectrum. This is a great quote from Tahir. This is on his Medium blog, their Medium blog. An SBOM, or software bill of materials, is a detailed, machine-readable list of all components within a piece of software, including dependencies, metadata, and relationships between those components. And there's also a human factor that goes into that as well, because you need people to build these things. You need people to generate these SBOMs. You need people to keep things secure, right? There's always going to be a people aspect to this. I'm going to repeat that. There will always be a people, not AI, aspect to this, okay? So why do we need it? Why do we need an SBOM if we are building software, especially if we're building software that another company is going to use, or another, not just company, but like another tool that is going to use our software, right? Why do we need it? Well, one main thing is we need it for transparency. We need to be transparent about what is going into our software and then what we are consuming with our software. And we also need it for disclosure. We need to know what is out there, right? And we clearly know that the truth is out there. There are attacks that happen that are out there. The GlueStack attack, the Shai Hulud attack, right? They happen all the time. And most of the time, those attacks are coming from transitive dependencies, not your direct dependencies. I love this. This is David Grush. Does anybody watch this when it was going down, the disclosure stuff in court? Were they non-human biologics or human biologics? No. Am I just on a whole other world with this? Possibly, maybe, no. You guys aren't nerds, like none of y'all believe in this? Come on. I know, you're from NOLA. I know, I've been there. A lot of things happen down there. It's a good time. But it's really critical for two main things as well. And one of those being security. And I keep repeating it over and over and over again. Security needs to come first when you're building and shipping web and software, anything, right? Performance, accessibility. And a really, really big piece of this is compliance. There are compliance standards all across the board for all different types of things. A buddy of mine told me that there's a standard out there, I'm paraphrasing, for open source software, that if you're using an open source license or open source compliance badge or something, anything that you ship or you're consuming to use that also has to be open source, which is licensing and compliance, which you got to kind of maintain that as well. Last thing that you don't want is, at the end of the day, just like an accessibility lawsuit, is a compliance lawsuit or a compliance fine, right? Your company does not want that. So this kind of helps to mitigate that issue. So when we talk about SBOMs, we have 6 different types. The demos I'm going to show, they're just like a baseline, basic kind of SBOM. These all kind of fall into the SDLC, the software development lifecycle. You really need a team to do this all around. And you can look up the different ones and what they mean, but the first one that we have is a design SBOM. We have a source SBOM, a build SBOM, an analyzed SBOM, a deployed SBOM, and then a runtime SBOM. So you really need to have different pieces of your team together to come up with these things, right? If you're a designer and you're in that kind of design space and you're kind of a design engineer, you might be able to figure out and build out the design SBOM, right? One thing to keep in mind is that your SBOM, it's not a lock file, it's not a package file. It pulls from those to help generate the SBOM, but it's not either one of those. So just one thing to keep in mind. We do have a big problem though, and we see this, I'm pretty sure we'd see this across the board, but we definitely see this on the front end. Typo squatting. Has anybody heard the term typo squatting? So typo squatting is a thing. There's 2 different types of typo squatting. Let's say a malicious person registers a domain name and they misspell it, and you go to guthub.com, which we've all done because the U and I are right there, and it takes you to a malicious site that looks like github.com. Now, I do think GitHub owns that domain because I've typed quickly and messed it all up, but that is an example of typo squatting. Another example of typo squatting is with NPM packages, right? The misspelling of NPM packages, or there's another letter or a number, right? One of these things is not like the other. We have npmi express, so you just write npmi express. You don't need to copy and paste that if you're building out like a little back end to run an API. You can just do it. Muscle memory, npmi express, right? But there might be a chance you might have slipped on that last S or you didn't hit it, right? And then you install this npmi express. Now you can see npmi express is installing in your terminal, but you've got so many other things that you're looking at, right? You might go in your package JSON and see that it's there. Okay, cool, it's there. Not even thinking. You're not going to go into your node modules to look for it because you're going to trust the builders and the maintainers of this product because they might be way smarter than you. They're way smarter than I am. So why would I second guess it? I trust them. I know that they're building safe and secure software. But I might have made a mistake and missed that second S before I installed it, and now I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. This is one of the best movies in the world, Hack the Planet. If you know, you know. But malicious attackers are out there. They just are. They're waiting on these things. They're waiting for loopholes. They're waiting for ways to get into a system, ways to disrupt the system, and then it ends up falling down on us, right? We got to keep those things in mind. To care or not to care, you 100% should care about these things, right? How many front-end devs are in the audience? Back-end? Designer? Product owner? Product manager? C-level? Director level? Everybody should care. Everybody should be should be caring about security vulnerabilities within the systems that they are designing, with the systems that they are architecting, and with the systems that they are shipping. There's also increased requirements for SBOMs nowadays as well, and the big one of that is client trust building. Policy recs are different. There was an executive order that was released back in 2021 from the president at the time to incorporate SBOMs to help improve our nation's cybersecurity, right? These things are expected more and more nowadays, having an SBOM. A process for older solutions. SBOMs haven't been around since the dawn of programming, right? But there's older systems out there where you might need an SBOM to keep those things secure so you can see what's inside that system, what's inside that package that you're building. A storage system for SBOMs. Not in the physical sense, but a way to keep those in some type of artifactory, whether that's Nexus, Artifactory, GitHub, having different SBOMs for various products. And then accessibility of those SBOMs, being able to give that SBOM to your customer or to your client when they request one, right? That all revolves around client trust building. So let's go to the terminal. Does everybody work in the terminal? Okay, some people are really scared of the terminal, kind of like Vincent Price. But I can assure you, working in the terminal is not that bad. It really, really isn't. The demo that I'm showing uses a tool called Syft. Syft is by a company called Anchor. The recommended way to install it is with curl. You can install it with brew, so just brew install Syft. I like using brew. We didn't forget about Windows. You can use Chocolatey to also install this. Microsoft also makes their own SBOM tool. It's verified through Microsoft, so you can use that if you wanted to, if you're wrapped up in the Microsoft world. And we have two popular formats to generate your SBOM, SPDX and CycloneDX. Whatever your company, your architecture team, your security team wants to do is what you're going to do, right? Somebody's going to make that decision as a team, and that's the one that you're going to choose in order to generate your SBOM. So with that being said, let's generate some SBOMs. So it might be a little hard to see, but I'm running Syft. I'm passing it the source name and a version. If you don't do that, Syft will kind of yell at you in the terminal. I don't really know if it makes a big difference or not. And that's the SBOM right there. Machine readable. It's extremely hard to read, right, as a human, but it just generates an SBOM for you. I use another tool called JQ, and JQ is a formatter, a JSON formatter. And I pass it a name. I say, take this, concatenate that into this, call it SBOM pretty, whatever, and then it makes a human-readable JSON file. There's a lot that goes into this, though. There's a lot. There's versioning, and there's hashing, and sums, and tons of different meta descriptions and meta information. If you're not really in the weeds with SBOMs and really in the weeds with cybersecurity, it'd be hard to decipher this. So that's why working with your architecture and your design, not just your design team, for the design SBOM, but your architecture and security team are crucial. Collaboration is crucial when it comes to cybersecurity and fixing these things and managing these vulnerabilities. So we can also regen SBOMs. Let's say you install another package, right? You're going to want a new SBOM because that new package has to be reflected in that SBOM. We install a package called Lucide Angular. There's one for React. I think there might be one for Vue. And that is just like an icon library. So cool, we look in the package JSON, it's in there. We're going to clear out our terminal. We are going to regenerate that SBOM using Syft. It's going to index the file system. It's going to take all that information from the lock file, the node modules. We're going to run JQ on it, sbompretty.json, concat that. We're going to look at it. We're going to search for the package, and boom, it's in there. So now we do have a new SBOM based on that package that we wrote. You can run this into like a GitHub workflow too. So if you push to like a release branch or a dev branch or something like that, it'll regen a new SBOM. You'll have a new artifact with the new package that's there. You can also run security on your security. So there's two tools, two big ones that you can use, Gripe and Sneak. Sneak's a company, but they have a tool. Gripe is also made by Anchor, and you can run vulnerability scanning on your SBOM, which is kind of cool because it'll list out some of your CVEs, common vulnerability and exposure. That's where a lot of your transitive dependencies, that's how you find out. There's CVE trackers out there in dashboards where you can figure out what CVEs are new within the software that you're using, and then you would use tools out there to fix and patch those, right? and then you just run, you generate the SBOM. You run gripe, and it just gives you a list of some of the CVEs that which they were found based on your packages in your SBOM. Like I was saying, you could run this stuff in a GitHub workflow, generate the SBOM with Syft, then you take that SBOM and you run it with gripe, and you can do that on push to you don't know what to do this in main, but do it, test it out on dev or a release, whatever trunk-based development that you're doing. This is how you would want to do that, and then I guess you could do it in main too, but I would do it before that environment first, just to make sure that you're good to go. So to recap, and I'll repeat this again. One of the reasons why we need SBOMs, component visibility, knowing what is going into our software, getting visibility into those packages, those transitive dependencies. Vulnerability management. When you're running CVE scanning, when you're running those scanners in your SBOM or your project, and they list out those vulnerabilities, that helps you to manage and see what's in there so you can go about fixing those. Supply chain security, we saw it in the beginning. We don't want what happened in Independence Day to happen to us or the packages that we're shipping, right? Collaboration amongst teams. You want to make sure that you're collaborating with the people around you or the other products and tooling and maintainers. And then compliance. You want to make sure that you're compliant across the board. The last thing you don't want is a compliance fine. Here are the show notes again. If you didn't get a chance to take a flick of that, I can also tweet these out if you're following me on Twitter. Put them on Blue Sky if you follow me on Blue Sky. I don't see anybody's phones out. That's cool. I do want to end this by saying, I'm not saying it was the aliens, but it was the aliens. Thank you so much. That's my time. Everybody, have a great Magnolia Conf.